in like August 2004, me and Jay Meter started emailing each other about perhaps starting an instrumental band. We both kind of always wanted to.
When I was talking with Aaron Quillen, I knew that he wasn't going to be in his old band Slow Dance Revival anymore. They were breaking up, and my band Phoenix Foundation was also breaking up. We both played the drums, and so I was writing to him saying, hey, you know, what are you gonna do next year for bands? Because I know that that's like your bread and butter. That's how you live, by being in a band. And he said, well, I don't really know. So I kept writing to him over the summer about ideas and things, and we decided that when he gets back to school that we're going to try to make a band, and I'm going to play the guitar, which I've never done in a band before. I can't really play guitar that well at that point.
And Jay came to me with a song one day, which actually became I Will Hammer Punch Your Clavicle. And he started playing the part, and I kind of wrote the second part and the progression that goes underneath it and things. And we wrote a song.
They got together and wanted to start a band. I believe the premise was Jay wanted to play guitar, which he had never done in a band before. If my memory serves me correct, they began this band over the summer. Towards the end of the summer, Mr. Aaron Quillen and I started a correspondence via email, and basically just talking about different bands and instrumental bands. I had been in an instrumental band in high school, and he knew that, and so we were talking about that, different experiences. When I got back to school, they invited me to come over and listen to them practice, which I was ecstatic about. These were the cool kids of school, and I didn't really know them so well, and they were inviting me to dwell among them and to listen to the sounds that they were creating. And so I came over and I listened, and they played me a early version of I Will Hammer Punch Your Clavicle. And I must say I was taken aback by the whole experience. I loved it and expressed my interest and good feelings about the group. And they proceeded to ask me if I'd like to join.
The other guys, Joel and Quillen and Jay and Stefan, were like talking about something and playing something, and then I don't know how they learned I played bass, but like Joel asked me if I would like to be in their band, try it out. They're looking for a bass player. They knew I played, I guess, and things worked out, and here I am.
Lone Wolf Cub was started because we wanted to play music.
I think the reason why it started is just so we could like make music that we wanted to make, like however we wanted to do it.
It was just kind of Jay's brainchild.
To be honest, I really don't know how we write our songs. We don't really have a standard way of doing it, a standard operating procedure necessarily. Sometimes because my roommates are never there and I'm kind of alone all the time at my house, I'll be sitting around and I'll randomly come up with something on guitar, and then during practice I'll play it and everyone will be like, "Oh, what is that?" And they'll start playing along to it, you know, and that's how some songs have been written.
The process that we go to write a song is haphazard at best. Generally, Mr. J Meter comes into a practice and begins finger tapping his mind out, and we attempt to follow along at a relatively slow and arduous pace. As things begin to pick up, things tend to come together, and over a course of a few practices, we'll have maybe, you know, one part, one section, and we'll say, oh, that sounds great. What can we add to this? And then someone else will bring in another part and we'll say, well, this is in the same key, so let's mess with it until it works. There is no strategy, there is no theorem, and hypotheses continue to be tested. And time will tell, and sales and fans will also tell, but we're not about that.
The inspiration for our song titles, I would say, usually comes from just our goofy personalities and our love of puns, especially Stefan's. We call him the pun master.
It just sort of happens where we'll be sitting around talking one day, and some of us will come up with just a funny saying. Like in one lunch, like half hour, I came up with the bring back the Dagwood Denny's and be there to be Tiananmen Square, and like we were just like, oh, those are really funny things. We should use them as song titles, because when you're an instrumental band, you can name them whatever the heck you want because they're not about anything.
One time is that song, she put a bicycle in her pocket and walked into a scary. That was named because we were talking about how we should name songs after using Mad Libs, and Jay was talking. He said she put a bicycle into her pocket and walked into a scary, and was going to continue, but he stopped. And I said, we need to name a song that, and we did.
The name Lone Wolf Cub is a stolen trademark of a Japanese comic. We are in copyright violation at the moment. Come and sue us soon.
Name is a Japanese samurai comic series that is really kind of a centerpiece in comic book history and was really popular a couple decades ago. And there's been like movies and stuff made after it, and now there's a band after it. Hopefully they don't find out, or they don't care.
We've been playing together before we were even conceived, since the beginning of time. I don't know.
We've been playing as a band for a little over a year.
Lone Wolf's goals as a united band, I would say, are just to write songs that we all enjoy playing, and I don't know, just kind of make a statement in the scene, and go where the wind takes us.
I think we just want to get our name out as much as possible and try to develop as much exposure and just, let people hear our music.
I'd like to get really good at the instrument. I'd like to know what the string names are of my guitar. I'd also like to know every... because I only know a couple, believe it or not.
Favorite part about being in Lone Wolf Cub is, one would be coming up with new songs and new parts for songs. Because like playing bass, like nothing's really set by the time we have a new song. It's just kind of like, here's what we got, put something in. And just being creative. I really love the creative part. I also like, hanging out with the guys and playing shows and hearing other bands, playing with other bands and hanging out with other bands. That's really cool.
Personally, I want to, just like I said before, get our name out there and, let people hear us and develop a good network of bands and things that we can contact with later, because even if the Lone Wolf Cub doesn't last for, the next 10 years, hopefully some of those contacts will. And hopefully, like, I want to do music for the rest of my life in a few different avenues, so.
My favorite part about being a member of Lone Wolf Cub is the fact that I just get to hang out with 4 cool dudes who basically I can claim they're all better at playing music than I am, and it's really inspirational, and it really drives me to learn my guitar better, learn guitar in general better. I really like, I don't know, chicks are great. I'm just kidding, they're not. I just had to say that because they're going to say that.
My favorite part about being in Lone Wolf Cub would have to be just the fact that I get to play drums with my friends, and just play drums in general. I love playing drums, and being at a school where I can't have my drums in my own room and play them all the time, it's always great to just be able to play. So, that, and just lately I've really enjoyed playing with other really great bands and meeting new people and getting to know people, which is always fun.
My personal favorite aspect of being a part of Lone Wolf Cub is the fact that every once in a while I get to go down into a dimly lit basement and create beautiful music with 4 beautiful men.